Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and the end of the week is here, so it's time to talk about the manga. Well, namely the ones with chapters that we've read. So yeah, let's get into this. We will start this off surprisingly with "'Tis Time for Torture Princess", chapter 229, titled "Torture 229", which, ironically enough, is one of those weird chapters where there isn't a torture even going on, or even a reference torture. Like, it's a night focused chapter. You know, like that guy that is supposed to be very generic looking guy. Unexact. Not even a fake hero type, just generic older dude looking guy. Yeah, this guy is finally back after I feel like a whole season, like maybe even two, because I don't think he appears since like the chapter that was adapted in the anime. But regardless, I'm assuming the season two will probably have him be evolved more, maybe move on this chapter ahead of time or something. But regardless, the knight is back to save the princess, and this time he developed a new spell that he tells the princess while she's asleep. So yeah, he explains to her this spell is supposed to be a spell that will allow them to leave the place without anyone noticing or touching them. It's kind of like a ultimate invisibility spell where you're able to be invisible and untouchable by everyone. With the condition of the fact that only those of pure of heart are gonna be able to see you and interact with you. And the same and the interaction part goes for him as well. Like, he cannot grab someone if that person's not pure of heart. He can just, face through them. And the pure of heart requirement that he, I think, set up on this spell is this person cannot, like, stay too late playing video games and cannot steal food. You're starting to see where this is going. So yeah, the knight goes there to wake up the princess because he assumes when he's explaining all this to her that she's just, deep in her sleep. But then he goes there to touch, but it just fades through her. As he then tries to touch it. Well, and not in a creepy way, just, wake up kind of way. And he realizes he can't do that. No, the knight has like one of those classic misunderstandings where he's like, "Oh no, I made this spell so strong that even people of pure heart can see or interact with me. Oh no!" As he's panicking because he thought that, because this is the princess and the leader of the Third Legion or whatever, she's definitely pure of heart, totally not thinking that she would stay late playing video games and eating and stealing snacks, which is something that even he has experience like with. Like, one of his subordinates apparently stole his snacks. So this guy does. So the knight doesn't think that the princess would do that. So he thinks, he just made the spell too strong. And with that, he realizes he failed again and just kind of goes home because he tried. Like, he even tried a few other gods in the demon castle to see if they work, but it's not working. Even though I don't think based on how he talks, that he would think any of the demons would be able to see him, interact with him, because they're not pure of heart. Except, I guess the Hellhound, because Hellhound, when he encounters the knight, does see him and interacts with him. In fact, the knight even explains to him the spell. And he's even kind of wondering how he's able to. Actually, I think the Hellhound is wondering how he's able. Well, no, I think both of them are wondering how exactly he's able to interact with the Hellhound. And the conclusion they come to is, this spell's requirement is you have to be a friend. So because Hellhold and the Knight are friends, it's solved. I mean, while that is definitely a possibility to be an answer, I think it's more likely that, and more hilariously, is that the Hellhold just is the only guy who's actually pure of heart. Like, this guy is generally a good father, and he's generally, like, I don't see the Hellhold. Like, even the way that this series has written the Hellhound, I don't think, the Hellhound, is in a way where I would not be surprised if he never stole snacks, never stay up late playing games or anything like that, because just the way how he is. So it's kind of funny, and also this is like totally in line with him, like how Hellhound is like the guy who will save the world, while the princess is some kind of more demonic and evil character. So it makes sense. But regardless, the Hellhound also asks the knight if he wants to go with him to the screening, because because there's like an anime they are both are fans of, is going to have a movie now, which I kind of reference. I think how there's a lot more common for anime movies to be in cinema in the recent years. So the Hellhound asks him, but the knight thinks, "Oh no, I can't go there because I'm a human and there'll be issues and all that." But Hellhound's like, "Well, no, good thing no one can see you except for me." So Knight agrees with that logic, and they both go and have a fun movie night together, even if the mission is a failure. This again, it's a very simple chapter, and seeing how it's always fun. Anyways, now from a this very calm start, let's go into peak fiction with 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. Chapter the 175 title Rental Families Daily Life Part 5. So yeah. No, these types of chapters are to me like what happens when Nozawa-sama just has like an idea for something or interactions with girlfriends, but simply cannot do it for a whole chapter. So she just kind of throws things together. Like I don't think she ever confirmed this, but I would not be surprised if this is the logic behind chapters like these. I mean, we'll definitely explain why in the last couple of chapters we had like 5 of them. Like, I think these are like recent things. Like, I don't think it was like the last 3 volumes will all have the start of these types of chapters. So yeah. Anyways, the first interaction we have is Meme and Iko interacting, because Iko is like complimenting Meme's knitting, and Meme's like, "Oh, I'm sure that you could do as well," but Iko says no because she's more into sewing. And as you can imagine, the reason why Iko is more into sewing is less because of her, she's more skilled with that, as much as it's the needle is more pricky. So, how that class went with Iko when they were doing sewing, which is something does state that they were sewing, I don't want to imagine. All I can imagine is there was probably a lot of doctor's appointment for Iko. So yeah, anyways, then we get to Aqua and Momiji's interaction, which is just kind of a start of a possibly new ship, because the two Iku, like Momiji likes the squishiness from Aqua's cheeks. It's like, oh, you're so squishy, and then Aqua puts her finger on Momiji's mouth. Uh, and saying how it's fun, and then the two of them, after like a few seconds, start to kind of blush and get like a ba-dum, 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 and Aquaman references like, I think we started something weird here with how they are holding each other right now. So I don't know. There's like one of those one-off Yuri moments between girls that have nothing to do with each other. This is gonna be like a thing, recurring thing now, but we'll wait and see. Anyways, then we cut to the most fun one, especially when it's gonna get animated, and that's the Momoha and Karane part, where Momoha is drinking alcohol, and the way how she's dressed and how she's developed, it kind of like puts an emphasis on her chest, which Karane sees, and she gets flustered and jealous about it, because that's who Karane is. She is like the one flat girl that's like, well, not flat, like, I mean, I think she was more in the middle when we got Momoji's rankings of the girlfriends' bust sizes, but I think when it comes to like girlfriends with bust sizes, I think Karan is actually on the high. Well, is in the amongst the ones that don't have freakishly large ones. I think she does have, relatively decently sized ones. I think she has like average, honestly. But regardless, Kana gets very jealous, and Momoha probably drunk. Like the way she talks, it sounds very drunk. She's like, "That asks Karana if she wants to cup a field." This has to be like a translation thing. There's no way the officials are actually going to have Momoha telling Karana if she wants to cup a field. But Karane refuses, so Momoha is like, well, if you're gonna refuse, then I am gonna take the opportunity as she grabs Karane and starts groping her. As she also explains to Karane that if you do that with the boobs, they're gonna grow bigger. Which Karane remembers that she read something like how this releases like a feminine urge or something, and this does help in the size, which does make me kind of wonder this is an actual thing. Like, is this an actual medical thing that's wrote on? Because I think there's like a more common joke with flat girls in series than just 100 girlfriends. So it does make me kind of wonder that's like a thing. So regardless, after realizing that, Kai just lets Momoha grope her for entire time. Because I guess drunk Momoha just wants all of the tsuneris for herself because she has Mei and now she's adding Karane. All that's left is Kurume. I mean, I could honestly kind of see this. How would Momoha get Kurume? Momoha, the tsundere queen. As we have like Hakari noticing this, and she's like, oh, she's even Mora's even getting Karani wrapped in her fingers, and instead of being a jealous girlfriend because Mora is still taking her girl, she's actually more wondering what kind of blackmailing material she got on Karani because she's thinking like, oh, did Momora get Karani doing it on herself kind of deal, and that's why. As we even got her like imagining it. I imagine that she often dreams of that sequence with Kane, but regardless. So yeah, anyways, then we get a Ari and Hahari chapter where we have Hahari being scared of something fictional, I believe, as Hahari shows up to stop her from circling off the building. So he's like, oh, don't worry, mommy's here to protect you. Because that's what she really wanted. She really wanted baby play with Eri. But Eri informs Hahari that she's a scaredy cat, not someone whose mental age degrasses that of a toddler, referring to Kishika. So no baby play fun with me. I mean, I'm certain that Hahari would still want it, anyways. So yeah, anyways, then we get to Tama and Karumi's interaction, which finally probably answers again. Like one of those things, I'm certain is like also been a question by the fans. Which is again one of the things I feel like these chapters come from. Like they're questions the fan have, and since 100 Griffith doesn't have an SPS like One Piece, it's answered in the story. So like, you wanna know if Tama eats cat food? Kurumi asks Tama if she eats cat food, which when Tama has like the most well, the way the translations say it, the most Malfoy response because she's like, I am a cat from a human lineage, so it would be insulting for me to eat cat food, which is only meant for pure-blooded cats. So it's unfair. Which the fact that this also kind of gives me the idea, makes me think that that Nozawa Sensei recently was watching or reading the Harry Potter books and movies, because like this is like the first time that we have like a Harry Potter reference in 100 Girlfriends, which now does make me kind of hope we get a chapter at some point where we have like all the girls like are now wearing the Hogwarts robes, but like wearing outfits that are very much inspired from Hogwarts classes. Like Hanazos would that wear a very clearly a Slytherin type of inspired dress. Kishika would wear a very obviously Gryffindor inspired dress. The maids would wear a very obviously Hufflepuff inspired dress. Nano would wear a very obvious Ravenclaw dress, like stuff like that, because I don't think that we can have like official Hogwarts clothing in 100 Girlfriends, although again, like the copyright thing is kind of a weird thing where you are kind of allowed to reference it, but you're not. I don't know. I don't know if the outfits themselves would be too much, but I could see a chapter like this, which I do hope we get, because I do wonder where all the girlfriends would be. So yeah. Anyways, then we also have Tama ask, couldn't be like, oh yeah, it would be weird if a human ate cat food. As then Tama wonders, have you also eaten cat? Have you ate cat food? As Kurumi doesn't want to say it, as Tama continues asking her, which just makes me kind of wonder what kind of end would this be? Would Tama trash talk Kurumi for them to eat cat food and disrespecting the cats? Because because Kumi doesn't answer, and I'm honestly not surprised that Kumi ate cat food beforehand. Like the way how she explained herself, and especially chapter 440, well, chapter 44, Kurumi's general interest in food is basically anything. Like I'm not surprised that Kurumi would like see a cat or dog food commercial and then start craving it. Probably don't want to say it out loud, but she would probably eat cat food if she got hungry for it. Which I'm kind of surprised that we didn't have like a chapter where Kurumi shamefully asked for some cat food. Oh my god, that would just be hilarious. So yeah, anyways, then we get a part where Aries again scared and hits May, who is about to trip, but luckily Kishika is there to save her, which kind of looks like a princess scary because Mary wears a dress and Kishika is a very much themed after a knight. As then we have like Rentaro and Hari kind of having like their fantasies, be like, oh, princess, knight carrying his princess is the best. As Hari's like, oh, it's a very nice vanilla, but I prefer the reverse where the princess carries the knight, which honestly I don't really know that really works that well, but regardless. May then responds to the ad in kind because that's what her master wanted. So she immediately grabs Kishika and is carrying her because that's what she wanted. But not being Kishika, she would interpret that less like princess carrying a knight and more like mother holding her baby as she goes baby form. As as we have them Rentaro and Kishika having baby plays. It's so nice too. As we have May just saying honor that she's cuddling Kishika. So yeah. And then we have Hakari and Matsumoto focus as we have Matsumoto imagining a horny fantasy with Rentaro as Matsumoto notices this and she's like, oh, what kind of festival are you thinking of? As Hakari whispers her fantasy right now to Matsumoto as Matsumoto gets blushed and runs out of the rooftop, being like, I'm way too young for it because Hakari forgot the age limit with some of these girlfriends. Which is something that she was aware of it because she's like, I can't wait to talk to you about when you're older. Hakari, you need to at least remember the age limit here. Yeah, anyways, then we have a Nano and Rin chapter, where, pages where we have Nano opening a door, but she gets stuck electricity a bit, but she has no reaction because she's possibly a robot. As she's like, oh no, I failed here. I cannot be multivalent with no expression. So she's trying to make a bigger static electricity try again, but Rin tells her that it's fine. Her emotionless when it comes to paddling eco makes her multivalento because you're so emotionless about it. Not joy emotionless, but still emotionless. As Rin tells her that, and I was like, finds Rin a very adorable, but the way she tells her. Then we have Nadia being like, with that forehead, you probably look nice in a cowboy hat, as she gives her hat to May. As May tells her, I'm a maid, not a cowgirl. Or I think a cowboy or whatever. As Denali compliments May and asks Mai if she also thinks May looks great. As Ma May agrees with it, and Mai gets a bit of a big carrot, and she's then continuing to working with a cowboy hat on her, which kind of frustrates Natty because like, wait, my cowboy hat is my soul. As Uta gives her traveler's hat on Natty until she's able to get her cowboy hat back to calm her. Then, after some bit of time, confirming these things all do happen on different occasions in a week, we have Iku standing there as Kusuri pretends to be a centaur with her. She like grabs her by the hips, I'm guessing, and she's like tries to hide herself in the cloak that Uta wears, and she's like, "We are sent sent to Uta." As Uta has no reaction to this face first, but she's actually very happy about being a centaur. So yeah. Then we get a chapter where, pages with Kiku singing a song as we have Suzuka complimenting her songs and Kurumi reacting to it as Suzuka as Kiku tells her that she's unhappy about it because she wants to be an abnormal songstress, which then has Suzuki referenced the fact using her phone to like type in a bunch of words to describe Kiki as weirdo, like you're a weirdo, you're a whack job, and all that stuff, which makes Kiko very smug. She's like, yes, I am a weirdo. Yes, I am abnormal freak. Yes, yes. Which is Izuka has like a very big smile on her as Kiki agrees with it. Which I mean, what kind of book does Suzuka read that she would have those words in it? Because like one of the lines that she has in it is like, "Lick my shoes, you weirdo." So it's kind of a weird, like, which kind of even in response with Suzuka, you're kind of ruining your innocent girl with this shtick. But yeah. Anyways, then we get Sue. Then we have Yaname and Ako walking and talking while Sue notices like a $1 cent on the floor, $1 coin on the floor, and she goes to get it, but Yaname by accident kicks her, which hurts Sue. But Ako does go pain go away. As then Sue screams at Yaname for kicking her, as Yaname apologizes, and the way that Yaname apologizes makes Sue feel bad about screaming at her because it was her fault for jumping at a number in front of their feet and being the one reason why she got hurt. Which we then have the girls just kind of walking together, most likely because Aqua and Sue probably the same location because class they're in school right now. But then Sue announces a test that has a 83 on it. Probably a word reference to being kicked or something, and she goes there to grab it, but Yame again kicks her because that's where she walks, and yeah. We really need safety measures with Sue at this point with his like of numbers. Anyways, then we have a chapter with Chio and Mimi because Chio notices that Momoa is being very undignified as she's like basically stripped naked at this point with how she's drunk and laying. As Chio shows up and covers her up with her clothing and all that, and puts the bottle nicely, and it makes everything correct. As Chio is a bit embarrassed about her still acting like this, probably because she remembers what happened last time. She wanted to correct everyone, and it becoming a mess. So Chio probably doesn't want to do stuff like this constantly. But Matsumoto tells her that's fine, that's who she is. As Mimi comforts Chio as well, until it ends with Mimi making a joke about the thing that she wants to learn how she's able to be like that because she then covers her face like, also you gotta tell me your secrets and how you're acting like this. I must know. As she is again embarrassed. And then for the final interaction, we have Yako and Usa, where Usa asks Yako to listen to her random nonsense. I'm not entirely certain it's even words because it's just repeating one word a couple of times and then changing to a different word that's more like an connecting the sentence in an actual sentence. As the characters are like, how this just looks like a grandma humoring her grandchild as Usa talks her ears off as Usa realized, oh wait a minute, you're a grandma. You probably don't even understand what I'm saying, even just the words I'm using. As she apologizes, but Yako is fine. Where I'll be like, oh, it's fine, dear. Yeah, I understand. Danny, I'm just happy that you're having fun talking to me. As Usa goes for a hug, it's like, Grandma! I don't think she actually says grandma, but Yako is pretty much anyone's grandma at this point when it comes to what this harem. As Kusuri notices it, and she's getting jealous of her grandma being taken from her because that's like a thing that she had with Kishika where she's like, oh, she's trying to steal my grandma from me! But Tama is like, oh, just let them have it. Just play with Tama for now as Tama's on top of her. To be like, play with a kitty, not with a grandma! So, yeah. It's a fun interaction, and the next week's chapter is gonna be a Kurumi solo date in Disneyland. Oh, I am so excited for that chapter! So, yeah. Anyways, with I think the Slice of Life series out of the way, I think mostly, it's time to get some action-packed stuff here with Four Knights of the Apocalypse chapter 148, titled Dark Clouds Looming. Honestly, with Warland's powers, I would not be surprised if she does have some kind of dark cloud magic ability that would cause some kind of havoc. Probably like some kind of like ultimatum, either the fairy forest gets poisoned or something, or you give me the jug of yore kind of deal. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, just I would not be surprised. But anyways, we start this chapter off with the way we had last time with the Sixers being beaten and pierced and being completely overwhelmed by Warlande. As everyone senses this, as everyone's like sense, I think I'm not saying they sense Warlande's magical power, or if they just sense Sixers' uh, diminishing power because she's beaten him to basically to dying state. So everyone senses at least Six's power, and they, I think, do reference Six's power depleting. So we have like Meltre, Nauseans, and all the other siblings with Deanne and King also noticing the fact that Six's power is depleting. As we then, so yeah, and that causes King, who completely turned his back to Kilbegan, is now has his priorities completely at King at Nog Six's situation. As Kilbegan goes there for okay, there's a different plan behind it, but he kind of looks like he's trying to like beat King physically, but King is completely done fooling around. Like previously, he was still somewhat toying with Kilbegan, but now he's like, "You're that," and he just has his spear pierce Kilbegan, which I think is supposed to be the secret treasure that's keeping Nauseans and his daughter in prison, unless if I'm forgetting something. Although, actually, I think he could multiply it, but I'm not entirely certain. We got, like, even if that is the case, I imagine Nauseans will just then immediately respond by going to heal Miltre or helping him with that stuff, so regardless, probably something just to keep in mind, but not much. But regardless, King even tells Kilbegan that if Kilbegan just took this chance to flee, he would have let him because his priority right now is Sixtus. As then we have Kilbegan giving us a bit of lore, because he's not actually displeased about the situation because he's able to have completed his creator Warlande's plan. As you can probably imagine, Warlande being one of the four evils, people who were told to not engage the seven sins would make plans for in case if she if it came to the Seven Nations engagement. So she used Kebelgon for that kind of scheme. And also the fact that we learned this chapter that Kebelgon is the one who created him. That's kind of raise a question about, okay, is Wolanda very old? Because we get a face reveal for Wolanda, and it's like, I'll get into it at the end of the chapter, but let's just say that Wolanda is kind of a all over the place character for right now. But regardless, the reason why Kibagan was King Snap and let himself get hurt and die is because of a deadly soul cursing grudge ability spell that he had placed on himself, uh, or was placed on by Wolande, where he essentially, if you kill him and this when you kill him, his blood touches you, it covers your body in dark ink, which is I think just supposed to be his blood. And that seals King's power. Basically, a way to remove King, which is something that I feel like a lot of people could have expected it because, again, like I think the Nakaba is aware that he can't just completely make the Seven irrelevant in terms of power level rules. So he's probably trying to like make them weaker, at least most of them weaker, so he could have before like the final stages of the series where they can get overpowered by characters. So he probably just wants uh, King to be in a sealed state, which is his, I guess, I think some people placed this form at the time after, like, look, similar training, but in terms of, but before the Samael fight. So, yeah, King's power is depleted, and Kilbegon's final sacrifice has been made. Which then, as soon as King falls, we have Diane saving him as she comments on the form. But it's like, oh, we need to go help Six because I knew something was bad. I knew it. We have to go immediately as they both are going probably go there because again they knew it. Like like I don't think Diane sent Rulana because I feel like King would be better when it comes to stuff like that. But I think she like had a bad feeling like there was something that shouldn't be there. Probably maternal instincts, but still, like, she probably knew there was something wrong here. So, yeah, anyways, then we have Rolande talking with Sixtus to be like, oh, can you help me get the drug of you now, if you would be so kind? Because she probably, as Sixtus doesn't want it, he, like, tries to be a smug little prick to her, but Rolande is one of those characters that's going to have none of that, as she just, like, starts casting a spell to have sex say the words that brings out the drug of your while he's saying it. Like he even says to her something like, oh, even if you might prefer preference in women, I would never do it. And she doesn't give a shit about that. She just has him say it, but realizes, it's not gonna work. I guess only the real fairy king only the current fairy king can actually do it. I see. Because, like, again, like, Six is very much supposed to be the next in line for the throne. So you could maybe think, oh, maybe the next in line for the throne could get it. But no, it's just the fairy king himself. Which was there before him, but it could be something like you would kind of wonder. So it's confirmed. And then Ulan is just like, alright, second option. And then she uses a new different spell to use Six's memories to get the drug of yours. She then has that vision of him and of King giving Nauseons or the drug of yore. And she's like, all right, good, this is the time I need. Just a little bit back so I could get the words out, which she knows word is skips the part about Percival coming back, unless if she did see this part, just that she doesn't feel like revealing it right now. Like I could totally see this be like one of those like compensations where she's like, oh, uh didn't get a drug of yore, but she did learn that there is a way that Percival can return, so they'll kind of make the fairy forest be more of a problem. Because remember, the drug of yore can solve King's problem, but the we don't know yet. We don't know if that could if she'll get it or not. Or like I think King will get back to his normal state, but we don't know when. So, although to be fair, although I imagine that Wolanda would probably try to recreate more of Jog of Yore if she does get a sample of it, so maybe it's gonna be a different time when King gets unsealed. But anyways, then Wolanda gets the incantation from King, and then that still works for the for the condition, and she gets the drug of Yore. She's like, yes, it is. This is the drug of Yore. Excellent. And then, as Mulan is probably planning on opening the gate to go to Camelot, or before she's even able to start casting, she has the siblings arrive. As then we have like this. I think the four. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna say Nauseans is the first, Miniature is the second, Sixes is the third. I think the other fairy brother is the fourth, and then the fifth is the Diane looking like a sister. Makes a golem that's about the same size as she and her other sister are. As she punches Rolande, as the fourth sibling grabs, uses his vines or a whip to get the drug of York from her as they are there to go up against Rolande, which considering the fact how much they build up sixes and how no dift Rolande is not gonna work. So they are in trouble to say the least. And the funny thing is that the sister even comments about how tough she is for a human because why it could be because of the lack of art because in the final page or two, I think it's actually in the second to last page in the chapter, Wulande, there's like a big there's a lot of like unfinished art, like the fairy brother has no wings, the there's no background. The floor is completely gone. Like I even think some of the I think even some other siblings are missing some portions of their body. Like it's very clearly unfinished. As she even, but regardless, all that punch did was knock her helmet off, while Rolanda herself seems to be relatively fine. Like she's just, it was like a, like just enough to send things that she was having on thrown in the air, but nothing significant enough for her. It was nothing, which makes sense. Like, I mean, I get the humans are kind of weak, especially with the way how Four Knights has kind of been riding Chaos Knights. It does kind of make them look very weak, but I feel like a lot, at least the I feel like at least the four evils should be above most of Diane's and King's siblings. Like, I don't think Diane's, like, maybe sixes could be a question, because Mulan could very likely be the strongest of the four evils, especially depending on how you interpret it, but, you know, you kind of cannot have them all being overwhelmed. So, regardless of that, we have Wolande, the space reveal, and it's like which to be fair, this page does get finished, which I think is like one of those priority pages where it's like the Nakaba wanted this page to be finished, so the PS page couldn't have been finished that much. As Wolana is just like my, as we see her, she's like a very beautiful girl as you can imagine, but okay, there's a little bit of a question about Wolanda, what she is, because the way that Kilburn talked about her made her sound ancient. Like, even if she's not specific, even if she's not like the one who created the lizardman race itself, which is a race, this isn't like a new type of species, this is like something that existed for a while. She it's unclear if she was on make it sound like she was the creator of it, unless if he means himself specifically, which is also a possibility. Also, I think her name actually translates into like a Lady of the Lizards or something, so even more, or the Queen of Lizards or something. So there is more of a okay. So her name is more of a title, and the fact that there is creation of the lizards, kind of like okay, she has to be ancient, right? She has to be like a Merlin situation. But then there are also some people who think like she kind of resembles a girl that was in Arthurian that was in the end of the series when Arthur and Merlin got to Camelot, and there were people who were on the ground, and they came out like there was a kind of girl that kind of resembled Rolande it could just be that he liked the design for the general eyes and the hair for that girl, so maybe he just wanted to reuse it on Wolande. But I don't really know how that's gonna be the thing, how this is gonna kind of go. So yeah. Also, one thing that I do want to mention is it's just how we got like a face reveal for Rolande right in the arc where she's the big player here, while other Chaos Knights like Beltrape did not get a face reveal. Ironside did not get a face reveal until he came back in Sistina arc. We need until Leones to get Pelagot's face reveal, but Rolande is getting her face reveal in this chapter. I would say this is supposed to kind of show that she's gonna maybe get replaced because White Knight is kind of a weird thing because White Knight I believe is only associated with Lancelot, because in the Four Legend he was the White Knight, but here we have Rolande. But I don't know, like it's kind of like one of those weird things where I could see it. Like I don't know, maybe like I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. Because, Blue Knight could have been like Jericho, which would make more sense, but Rolanda is a completely different character, so it's kind of a weird thing, but I don't think she's gonna be defeated or finished this arc because, like, again, like we're getting a lot of tidbits about her lore, and I feel like they're making her more significant. If anything, I could see her like get promoted from her position, like she gets to become the sorceress of Camelot because she's more of a sorceress than a knight. Let's be honest to ourselves from what we've seen here, even if she did handle a golden sponge. And then like maybe some other knight, Jericho preferably, would become like a new four evil knight and all that thing. But from what we know, they're just the four evil. But from what we know, she's gonna just be one of the four evils. Again, we will see how things go. I am definitely very intrigued to see if she's gonna be finished or if she's gonna be a longer threat or where we are exactly going with this. So yeah, anyways, with the four knights out of the way, it's time to talk about Eden Zero, chapter 286. Uh, the the titled Chrono Children. So yeah. So we start this chapter off with a space battle being kind of chaotic and all over the place, with the final ships of Eden's One kind of getting destroyed, most likely just to be more safe in case of Eden's One's AI got on one of them, so they will not have to deal with it again. So we have them just kind of destroying it and kind of randomly blowing it up. But unfortunately, the chronophage gets like a bunch of children out as they are starting to attack and making the battles even more chaotic. Because not only do they not have to deal with those ships, but they also now have to deal with the chronophages. I would say this would be some kind of excuse to get the characters to fight back, so at least it would make sense why those side characters would enter when everything's kind of over, but I don't really think any of them can do anything against a chronophage. So yeah, the chronophage is kind of chronophage fighting back when it's attacking everyone with its babies and all that, and causing just severe chaos. Yes, and the chaos, and it makes it even harder for the characters to fight it because those chronophages are not affected by the attacks. So they need to avoid that because if they get eaten, they crash or they die. Well, I guess they wouldn't die, just they get reversed back to non-existence, and they can destroy them because they are taught, because they can affect it. So it's kind of like one of those. So how do you survive it? Kind of deals. As then we have Rebecca, Pino, and Happy being there in space next to the mother, as they are also seeing this, but they cannot get away because they're surrounded by it. But luckily, Ziggy still being there because it's kind of a weird thing. He shows this kind of heroic moment, like come this way, as if like he kind of thought that he was gonna get destroyed or something. I don't know. The way he talked in the last chapter make it sound like he was gonna get destroyed as well with Void. Like we'll go back together into the void, but no, it's like I don't know why he would be destroyed as well. But anyways, Ziggy is there. I'm guessing the current page is gonna degrass him into non-existence or something doing this. But regardless, Ziggy makes a pathway as they escape for them to escape. As then we cut back to Shiki versus the Time Priestess. And this chapter is probably just a fight between this portion on just Shiki versus Time Priestess, which one thing is Shiki is in his base form, so any amount of beating up in this chapter, because this chapter kind of just has the Time Priestess beat the shit out of Shiki, probably just because she's the final villain, so she kind of needs. Well, Okay, she might not be the final villain because there's always a plot twist that could happen, but regardless, for now, it does look like she's the final villain. So she has to at least beat the shit out of the main character and tell the end of the story. So she just beats Shiki up, and and she's very overwhelming. Like, she's faster, she's stronger than base Shiki, and it's like she has like no issue. Shiki's not even able to do anything. I'm not even entirely sure how much she's fighting back, honestly. But regardless, she's beating the shit out of him. She's just ranting about how she doesn't like this, she doesn't want this world, she wants this all to go away, she wants these buildings, this everything to just go away. As Shiki wants her to, questions that like, questions that a bit and wonders who she is, which it's probably future version of Rebecca. The fact that Ziki is still there, the fact that she has like very obvious same power as Rebecca, the fact that we don't again, the fact that Rebecca's kind of been gone for now. I think it's gonna be real. I think it's pretty safe to say there's gonna be future Rebecca showing up and revealed. It's just we want to keep it a bit more mystery for a few chapters. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not going to drag itself out, but we'll see how things are going to go as she just continues being Shiki until throws him to the floor and stomps on her hand, which causes a bunch of blood spurting all over. Again, it's just something to fake the tension as she proclaims that she doesn't want this world to remain, and that's the end of the chapter. It's again not really much of a chapter, like it's just a transitioning period chapter, just something to have the I'm assuming final villain of the story to look somewhat intimidating because again, like no one cares about the Time Priestess. Like, I mean, I'm certain there's gonna be more lore. I'm certain there's gonna be a bigger implication, especially if she is indeed Rebecca, future Rebecca, as we all think is. But we're gonna be emotional moments and all. But it's like, again, she's kind of like the last second character who has appeared. Like, we knew her existence, but we had no reason to think that she's gonna appear in this state and fight against anyone. So it's kind of weird. So no one cares about things. But regardless, that's it for Eden Zero's chapter because again, just nothing with chapter. Like, it's kind of really difficult to get commentary on chapters that are basically just transitioning battle chapters until the end of the series. Anyways, with that out of the way, we then get to Chain Soldier, chapter 131, titled Due to My Feelings. And unfortunately, this is not it got 8 Thunder Gods chapter because I mean, I was thinking it was gonna be it because of the way how characters, were talking. Well, how the last chapter ended and how the previous major arc with the Eight Gods ended with us in the transition period, ending it with a Eight Gods focus. But now it kind of makes it look like the Eight Gods may not even play a role in it by the looks of things. But regardless, enough talking about wrong predictions, and I'll start talking about. What actually happens in this chapter. So we start this chapter off in the I think the captain meetings are in the fourth, well, in the tenth squad base. Not sure this is like who is the current chief, or is if this is just like or I'm just confusing the places. But regardless, the characters are talking. Well, Yuki is wondering about stuff and he's leaving the bathroom and he's wondering what's up with Tanka, which is something that's been mentioned a lot of times, how Tanka's kind of acting weird and stuff like that. Especially since he encountered Tanka in the beginning of the chapter and she was kind of like, "Hi, Yuki," touched his chest a bit and then just go. Which he finds weird because usually he would think that she would grab him by the hand, drag him to, and be a bit more flirtatious with him, but this time he is not. But unfortunately, he just has to go to the meeting. As then there's also a little joke with the Squad 1 captain about how his zipper is not up, which is something that happens. I'm not surprised because it was too deep in thought. So regardless, they go to the meeting as he's kind of just there to be the boy toy for the captains. So yeah, now there's a few things to go over in this captain's meeting. So the first thing to note is that that Ren looks at Himai's abilities and her time powers, and she sees a lot of potential for Himai to be a next captain, which is something that Kyoka even says. Yeah, she will be a great captain. Azuma doesn't really react to it, but she's probably like very proud in like a, yes, my daughter is developing well, which again is kind of a thing which is how the end chapter goes. There's a lot of bit of a question and concern about how this is gonna go with Himari. So yeah, just build off of Himari being the next captain. It's not surprising. These characters usually get to become the position of captain. Like even if they do not replace the main one, they do eventually become captains. Except Renji, because that guy is unfortunately never going to be a captain for some reason. So yeah. Anyways, then we also get to something that I think should have been fixed a long time ago, and that's the third squad strategy. Because one thing you remember is that the third squad got beaten up a lot, gets beaten up constantly. Like, they're the kind of punching back squad, honestly, of the Meito defense force, and now they're gonna be focusing on around Belle's ability to make her be able to use it the most, which is something I have been had a problem with for a while, from ever since I was reading it. Like, why? Like, the first one really had like no idea. Like, the first one really feels like it was just like, oh, Belle has an OP ability. Let's just leave everything to her and yeah, not like, oh, this girl may have an OP ability, but she's technically useless in an actual prolonged fight. Because remember, the reason why against Ryren it worked was because Ryren was distracted. He didn't realize that she was using her ability on him. That's the reason why he was defeated by her. Outside of that, it would just be a matter of time. Like us against a Girl Thunder who will Val against a Girl Thunder on her own would just be the Girl Thunder having an impossible task, beating the shit out of her or killing her until they are like just, alright, time to just put you in a car because clearly we cannot kill you because of your ability. So yeah. I'm happy to see the third squad's finally like fixing their mistake. So yeah. Anyways, then we transition to the commander election. Something that's been mentioned a lot of times, and it seems like the next arc, or this arc is more likely, is going to be about the commander election. Again, kind of making me think this is gonna be us transitioning from the Eight Gods of Thunder to just the Unknown Agency. Not entirely, since I could see this still coming back into play, but we'll see how things go. And yeah, anyway, some of the characters are kind of wondering if they should. I think the second squad chief is actually wondering if they should kind of prolong the election, considering the Eight Gods of Thunder are still around and they could do anything. But Ran is just, Ran is just like overconfident. Again, Ran's overconfident. I really do have to wonder if we are going to have like a payout for this. Like, they're really leaning into Rand's overconfidence here, and and the way the story is written, I kind of wonder if we're going to get the comeuppance. Like, oh yeah, you are getting the beatdown of century, or if it's just gonna be like one of those things where Rand is proven correct to be as overconfident because like she doesn't react to the fact that, oh, if Himai's time ability did not exist, or if she didn't use it, Ryan and Fukume would effortlessly beat two squads. I mean, she mentions how powerful and useful the ability is for so much that she would even be the next chief, but she doesn't mention, oh shit, two squads were almost wiped out effortlessly by two Gods of Thunder members who were barely trying. They were, and they, well, the squads needed to separate them and go way beyond their limits to beat them. Kind of a weird thing to just gloss over, but again, I think we are building up to a beatdown for Ren. And yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, also one thing about this election is that's going to take place in Shangri-La Fall, which is going to be like a thing where, because of the way the time works there, it's like no one is going to realize what's happening in it. So once they leave for Shangri-La Fall, it's going to immediately be, well, it's not going to be a time gap for the people in it. So they're just probably like, we're going to Shangri-La Fall, we'll deal with the election. I'm assuming it's going to be like captains, vice captains, some government officials, UNMO agency leaders, and all those guys are probably going to be there. voting for whoever will be in charge, because it does seem like it's a vote. Like previously, you could probably argue that maybe it was a more of a tournament type of setting because the confidence some people had, and not to mention that I feel like not the Chiefs would generally vote for Kyoka. I don't think anyone would really vote for Ren from the campus, like outside of Bell, really. But now it does seem like there's more of a there's a wider number of people who vote. So Shangri-La Fa was the place they're gonna be doing it. They'll get the election done before the Gods of Fun will even be able to realize that the Chiefs are gone, and then they'll be able to deal with them. I don't really know if this means that the Gods are not going to do anything about this, because they did sneak into it once, and if they learned anything about Shangri-La Fa, or learn to discover this, they might sneak in again. This time, I don't think they're just gonna limit it to Koma and Ryren. I could totally see someone else showing up and doing something. I mean, just saying, I could see like all the remaining five showing up, and maybe even Shinoko realizing what that the other three gods are in Yuki. So who knows if we're going for this kind of reveal. But yeah, anyways, that's how the situation with the Shangri-La find a vote. But the real thing to talk about is we're having her priorities straight. Because when she hears Shangri-La Fa, she doesn't think about, oh, would that be a wise decision? But because of the eight gods of thunder, no. What she truly thinks about is the naked hot girls in the spa. And she imagines all of them taking their clothes off and all of them in the spa, and she is pleased. Bless you, Ezo. You truly are the wisest of them all. But yeah, we'll see about, and yeah, that's pretty much all the important stuff. As part was the most important, by the way. About the meeting, as then we have the characters just kind of going back to the basis, and when they're back, and Kyoka is giving Yuki a massage, he's wondering. He finally asks about Tanka, like what's up with her? Like she's acting weird, and yeah. As Kyoka reveals to Yuki that all those last chapters where we had characters mention how weird Tanka is and how odd she's acting, all that is just was just a red herring. Like it's pretty much just Kyoka. Tanka decided to keep her hat down because she went into armor agency. She now might be in hot water and maybe discovered. So she's just like, all right, I'm not going to address. All right, I'm gonna keep my head down for my sister's safety. Just not gonna do anything, not do anything suspicious. There might be a sensor ability in our emergency, so I probably shouldn't leave for any kind of base. Yes, yes. Yeah. No, I'm not unhappy about this because it was kind of like I mean, I was kind of iffy on. I was kind of hoping for the replacement there. It was probably my preferred vote, but I'm not really surprised that it isn't. It was not going to be the case because, like again, Tenka gave very clearly gave something to Kyoka when she handshaked her after the Shangri-La fall. It could have been some kind of power depleting thing or some kind of tracking device, something like this. But with Pessy also getting the same treatment, but hers resulting in her losing her power diminishing because of her overextension against Fukume, it was pretty much confirmed that it wasn't a suspicious thing from the armor agency. So it would have to be like a note. And yeah, we spent like several chapters acting how we chapters talking about how weird Tenkai is. So it's kind of feels like wasting chapter pages, honestly. If it was just going to be a red herring, but I get it. So yeah. Anyways, we also learned that Yuki will be in the election as the one that will be in charge of cleaning and everything, since the world of Chain Soldier is pretty much a misinterest, wet dream. So he's gonna be there cleaning, which also makes me think there is going to be a battle there with all this. It's just the question is who is gonna fight who? Is it gonna be like an infighting thing with Meto and one more agency, or is it gonna be like a eight gods of thunder showing up? But again, a freeway battle between those factions will also work, honestly. But we will have to wait and see how this is gonna. Again, we don't know if the gods are going to enter or not so far. But regardless, he'll be there, and I assume there's probably gonna be some other people who are gonna be in charge of cleaning. I mean, I imagine this facility is probably gonna have like a bunch of women, like probably just no name, faceless, random votes for rand kind of characters just to make a feel bit more of a stake thing. Which does me kind of wonder how they're gonna be able to vote for anyone because like I don't think they know every single thing that they do. I mean, with the Rand, they very much have to rely on her because of the her position and all that. But still, like it's a bit of a weird thing. But regardless, we end this meeting with Yuki being happy to take us fine. She's just keeping her head down. As we cut to the final pages of the chapter, and we are finally focused on Tenka to get her mindset from it with Tanka being like being very unhappy about the fact she can enjoy Yuki the same way she did previously because of the whole keeping her head down thing. But yeah, but she's very confident that now she'll be able to, but soon she'll be able to do this as well as be able to get help Yuki's sister out of her trouble because in Shangri-La Fall, they'll be able to talk about the Armor Agency with all the captains. And when it's just all the captains, I also imagine it's also the squads that are not a part of the official teams, like the Mato Peach Retrieval squads, which was one where one of the squad 7 women was before she transferred to this team and is now in the with joined together with squad 3. I imagine that's where some of the captains who are gonna be there because it makes sense against who will vote kind of situation. But yeah, I feel like so yeah, that's what she's referring there, and yeah, she's planning to reveal it that she's determined to get the Onmo agency's secrets revealed, which I'm not entirely certain what those are gonna be because there's no implication except of what they could be. I mean, Tanka seems more determined to expose it for the sister than she discovered something horrific in it. So we'll have to wait and see. My theory about male Shokai being just men who are transformed with Peaches forcefully in Onmo Agency, is this true or not? But regardless, Tenko is definitely a lot of red flags in this chapter with how she's determined, but I don't think it's gonna be that easy. Like I know the Onmo Agency is gonna be dealt with this election arc, but we have to wait and see if she's gonna die or if she's gonna be captured or what's going to happen. I think someone mentioned that Piscata's mother is in Onmo Agency, so Prison Break arc is definitely a possibility for us in this for a potential future arc, but again, like we don't know if that's where this direction is going for, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, with Chainsaw out of the way, it's time to talk about That Rock, Chapter 11, titled Deep Cry. Funny enough, not much of crying in this chapter. The like definitely not as much as you'd think there will be in this chapter based on the chapter title. But anyways, we start this chapter off with Yuki's class getting a job request as the Monkey King reference character tells them because he's a new homeroom teacher. As there's like a little joke about them being students, and the homeroom teacher tells them that these job requests just extracurricular work. Probably just something similar enough to Fairy Tail skill requests and that stuff for them to do stuff. I'm not necessarily how much these things are gonna be in. I think it's just kind of like a reason why they would be where they have to be for the story. But regardless, the Monkey King teacher tells them, "Yeah, we this is a job request to help a wizard called Mago Mege the Seal Wizard." And as you will probably wonder why the Seal Wizard is always being referenced, considering what we learn soon. Yeah, it's where you think this is going. As he explains that she's having trouble with some bandits and she requested students to remove them because that's what they do. Like if you want to be the demon king or demon ruler in the on Earth, you have to be the strongest, and this is kind of like a way to prove it by beating bandits and stuff like that. As we have the cast being like, all right, we'll go and deal with it. Especially since the seal wizard could probably help them with a book against the god, because we find on this chapter that the book does not won't open. It's sealed shut, which is logical. Like if you're gonna have the book for God in such a public place, it would definitely make sense for this book to be at least some protection on it. So not literally anyone who's like, I wonder if this book contains a book that could defeat God. Oh, look, there's a book that with God's roots. You just gotta look into it. Like, it would be kind of stupid to have it like this. Like, even if it's like, even if someone who just for a joke sat there, like, I'm not, which does seem to be the thing, like a brand would probably let you go if it was just joking around. But because Yuki wants it, it's not the same thing. So Yukito goes there, and as they're traveling, they also have like, this is the weird thing about Yukito, and that's the fact he's like an MC with common fucking sense. Because when everyone else talking like, oh, should they burn the book to open it? Or should I cut the book to open it? Should I kill the book to open it? Yuki is like, it's a book! It's a book! And then he even realizes how convenient it is, the fact that their mission, the first job request that they learn of and get is a place where a witch that could unseal everything. Like, uh, really? This is the first, it's just freakishly convenient. As Alexia isn't really taken aback by this, but she's very. Like, there's a weird thing about Alexia where. Alright, so alright, I'll get into it soon, but, like, that is a very weird character right now in terms of in terms of intelligence and power level. Because, as they're traveling, Yukito says how weird this is while Zetsu is being dismissive. They run into a level gate, which is how they characters travel from worlds to worlds, which is something that Alexia does not know of because she lived in the level gate in level 666, which, as you remember in the first chapter, it's stated that every demon that's in the higher level gate, they're a lot stronger, or at least they're a lot more fearsome. So Heian was like, I believe in the 300s, while some Taurus guy was in the 220s. So Heian was a lot stronger than the giant boar guy, and that was kind of the thing about a lot of the class 1F is that a lot of their members are from very low, well, very high numbered gates. So like to hundreds above, like hundreds, 200, 300s, like very high relative. Not the highest, but in this chapter we learned is, let's say, it's actually from the highest. Which is kind of odd because, like, how did she survive if she was in the highest level? I mean, there's probably some low implication, like maybe she's a lot more significant. She has her roots are a lot more significant and much more important than we would usually give, but it doesn't seem like anyone finds this weird because Lutz doesn't seem to be that particularly more powerful than the rest. She kind of still seems kind of on the weakest side of the characters. And she seems relatively dumb from how unfocused she is when it comes to, like, how suspicious this whole thing is. So again, it's kind of a weird thing, and like, I mean, she's cunning. Like, she knew how to survive. Like, she gave herself a disguise form, which kind of makes me wonder if there's like a significant reason why she doesn't want the most people to see how she actually looks like. Like, she has been blending in with students, but it was mostly large spaces with a lot of students and people who have not recognized, who confirm can't recognize her, or have no reason why they would recognize her as anything but the birds in Class 1F. So it's kind of a weird thing that she seems to be kind of keeping her form secret. But regardless, Celestia seems to again be kind of a weird, cunning character. But again, I'm imagining we're gonna get to learn more about it. That so we have to wait and see. But anyways, as they're walking, they get ambushed by the bandits as the clay doll that has the gods of four roots from God of four gets destroyed again, which is something they make fun of. Like, how many times do you have to be destroyed? Come on, dude, you're a fucking golem. Stop being destroyed every fucking second. As the characters just immediately respond by attacking back. The necromancer lady makes zombies that goes humping in trees to, like, force them out of the trees to kill them. Orochi slices them. Yuki just crushed them with his fist. Freya wants to get into the fight as well, but because it's a fucking forest, you shouldn't fire send fire towards the fucking forest. So the golem just also to help him be put back together because he cannot do it. As then we have them like just wiping the bands out very quickly as the bandits. We were not told they were as strong as they get just wiped out as we have the captors being like, oh, this is over with. There being a joke about him being put in wrongly. Like, our captors always seem to put him in on wrong. Like, Yuki to put him together wrong. Freya put him together wrong. I think he himself was the only one who actually put himself correctly together. I mean, that's just gonna be a running gag with the captain to the point that no one can put him in, together correctly. But yeah, anyways, then we have the characters go to Magumagi's place to to get the information they got to unseal the gate and to inform the bands were wiped out. But they discover the witch that she was bolted to her own house and strung up and crucified. As Doctor she says, and Celestia is like shocked, like, oh no! As Yukito is like, Machodo, quicker revive her to get the power, and he could probably have guessed that she was gonna die. Well, it's gonna be a trap. As Bran shows up and confirms this because his fucking hand comes down and smashes the entire building. And yeah, this was Bran's trap, as everyone could have probably guessed that it was gonna be, because you know again, it was like a very convenient place. It was kind of very obvious about it. Now, in case some of you are asking why did Bran have to do with all this like cunning and backroom, because it's a lot. You're allowed to kill them. Like, a teacher can kill his students in that rock, but the reason that it is the fact that Bran does not want to reveal the information about the book being taken and all that stuff, because then it could have a risk of becoming public knowledge, and the book is not supposed to be public knowledge. It's just something that's in the library. So instead, Bran decided to just lead them all out so he can just destroy them outside, and then have the Monkey King teacher come collect their bones, and yeah, all that stuff. So Bran is here to kill them, and he probably got rid of the Mega Wizard because previously it was like, alright, it's not a concern that she's living here because again, who cares about, because no one's gonna try to get the book, but now people have tried to get the book, and now they can use her to unseal it, which is something that I was probably gonna point out, because that is something they could do. Like, even if as soon as the first request was probably mentioned, they probably would have planned on going there anyway. So it's kind of logical that they just decide to, logical that he just decided to cut the one that could open the book and then just destroy them, because then everything's gonna be solved situation, and no one needs to be the wiser. So Brandon transforms himself into his I'm assuming his true form, which is like a Titan-sized one Cyclops squid-like creature. As he also tells the reason why the Demon 4 teachers are known that way is because they are second only to God in terms of power, which is a bit of a high ceiling if you ask me, especially since it seems like there's gonna be a major fight. As he's ready to destroy them all, as Class 1 Alpha is going to go up against Bran. Which, fine enough, Orochi and the Necromancer, Reza, I think is the swordsman's name, and the Necromancer lady, both say, my god, we aren't even a part of this, and we are going to end up getting killed. I guess we should fight back since we don't want to die. So, it's going to be Class A versus Bran, which I don't think they're gonna win this fight, because I think it's just gonna be one of those action fights which is gonna show how overwhelmingly more powerful Bran is than them, and how and them just barely surviving. Maybe that character was mentioned a few chapters ago, who apparently was not found dead, but wasn't found leaving that little cavern that all the people were sent before they joined Class 1F, who was in, as he as he as they figure to save them. He saves them something I don't really know, because again, this is not only the guy who's supposed to be the strong. There's not only a very high ceiling, apparently right below God in terms of power, but it's also the guy who's his right hand man, being the vice principal. I imagine he should be by all accounts the strongest of the four teachers. Just to be fair, we could be having a thing where they could defeat him as a whole group, but then other teachers are gonna be more like grouped up in terms of their defeats. Like the necromancer in the fire could just be against that sadistic bastard in the Colosseum. Yukito could. I mean, I could imagine Yukito and Cecilia would maybe just be up against that succubus, Lily, I believe was the name. While Rizza and Hein could go up against that that Kraken guy. So they could have been like something like that, but it could just as easily been like a thing where but I think it's more likely to just be a thing where like he defeats them here definitively, but they escape and survive. I don't think anyone's gonna die right now because it doesn't really make sense in my opinion. But regardless, he's gonna kill. They survive, and then there's gonna be a thing where they beat the other three, probably grouped up individually, and then they team up against Bran to beat him this time. But yeah, that's how the chapter ends with them going up against Bran, which is probably gonna be their defeat to again show how powerful this force is. And probably gonna spend another training montage probably to get more of their characters' interaction and things. I mean, I don't really know where we're going with this because this is a really early thing to happen, which could have been like more of a big thing, but we're already at chapter 11, so I'm kind of weird out by this, but again, it's a monthly series, so we can't really waste much time. But yeah, anyways, we'll see how this whole thing develops. So to be fair, I would probably try to keep everything under the wraps for now. But anyways, we'll see how this unfolds. So yeah, anyways, with that said, it's time that we talk about the final series that I've read this week, and that is Time Stop Hero, chapter 408, 48. It's so weird having these 100 chapters at the beginning, but then going to like these less than 100 chapters. Chapter 48, titled Shinra and Stop, referring to the tree. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with all the Dark Elves and all the elves that were, the Dark Elf, Frine and the rest of the elves who turned to stone, being freed by Lucilia's princess prayer magic that is saving them as well as making it so the darkness and the dark realm and darklings cannot enter them, which is sending them all away. Which is like a little joke with the witch because she has. I think it was stated that the witches have. The reason why the witches resemble the darklings in appearance is because they use like their fellow darklings' bodies to make themselves for their immortality, or the reason why they can live for so long and look so young. So they butcher their organs and stuff like that. Like, I think that's literally what Zarzara said. So, yeah, they are kind of. So, yeah, there should be some effect by Princess Spirit on her as well, but it seems like she's. I'm guessing it's a lesser because we do see her like walking normally then, but right now she's kind of like holding on to the thing to a tree to not be sent away, and she's not even being blasted because Zarzal, I think Zarzal was like literally pulled it out of the place. Well, she's like just fine by holding herself to a tree like this or this. So yeah, Princess Spirit is super effective against Darklings, but the Witch is not a full-blood Darkling, so it's not as effective. But it's still some effect. Anyways, they explain that yeah. Fine. And since the whole main energy source and everything is starting to also deplete from the floating city, they're also starting to fall down. But thanks to Lucilia's Princess Spirit magic, they're going to be like, I think, 100 days without needing to worry about darklings and darkness being able to hold them. So they're not that concerned about darkness, but it's more the fact they're falling down. That's the problem. Or the very is. I don't know, the characters, the way they refer to it seems to be more like a leisurely fall, like, it's not like, boom! It's more like, kind of thing. So, it doesn't seem to be that much of an issue. So, it doesn't seem like they're worried about the falling as much as they should be. And with that, also the Celestials, the ones that the DCS wanted to talk and thought they was bring them to, just kind of don't care about because it's falling down. It's no longer that limit that it should be. So the bird just kind of goes, so it's just kind of go away to be revealed in one of the final arcs. So yeah, they're not alone concerned about that, but now with that Darkling's situation resolved, this situation resolved, this last concern resolved, and Sekai now just decides to go implement his plan that he developed as he goes to speak with Shinra as the witch and the blonde elf girl, the one we met this arc, comes along to go talk with Shinra, the giant tree that's been opening the doorway so he can time travel and all that stuff. It's a place to time travel. As we then have Shinra talking, well, Sekai talking to Shinra as the witch and the elf also both listen in on the conversation. And Sekai wants him to open the door so they can travel back in time and do things differently again. Like this is like because he didn't get a fire. Actually, I think he did get a fire. It was just the time and the things were so changed that it's one of those like brain shaking things about how much have the times and all those things changed because Freya does not remember who Sekai is. Even the events of a lot of things should probably be a lot more different, a lot more negative than they are now. So regardless, Sekai wants to reverse it in a way that will be the most beneficial. So Sekai talks with them, and but Shinra that's kind of doesn't really want to deal uh, doesn't really want to do it because the things have changed in a battle for the elves, so he doesn't really care. But the elf girl gives Shin a bit of a talking to because he's like, all this happened. Like, if we believe to you like a god, we believe you're a deity who's supposed to bring us this and this and that, but now you've let Theseus imprison our king, and then you had us go to a place where we will die. Like, get your fucking act together. And that talking to made Shinra be like, alright, if he wants to travel back in time to change things because he figured out something, then he can. As he opens the doorway so Sekai will be able to time travel again. And this time, the Ice Witch that he's with is coming along with him because she's curious about that. He first tries to get away from her by using, his time stop powers, but he needs to get around the spider, which he needs to slay. And I think there's some other things that he needs to deal with the actual time to get to the sword to time travel. So she's in that time period when he stops the times where he could as the time ago could normally had. She then shows up with her broom because it's very fast and there's a lot of holes all over the place. So she is able to get to him very quickly and then jumps on him and they both time travel into the past. Whereas where they are there in the Elf Village where they usually are with Sega being first, hey, get down, we'll get exposed if you just stand around there. As she reminds Sam that she's supposed to be there. She's an ambassador for crying out loud. It's not that weird for her to be there. And during that time period, she is there, which they even do a little joke where she meets that time period itself. So there are like two ice witches right around. So, yeah. So in this time, Sekai first starts by exposing the whole slime thing to everyone. By just coming to the meeting, well, actually, he first gets a little bit delayed because the ice witch is there, so he has to explain and tell her everything. But then they immediately go to prevent the assassination of that chief guy by, capturing the slime. And then, weirdly enough, there's not much of a reaction. In fact, there's like the chief is somewhere out and he should be a human is there. The ice witch is next to him. Then like one of their own, or what they believe is one of their own tied up is right next. But regardless, Sekai, they're not really freaking out much. But Sekai, anyways, he's like, this is a slime. A strand of hair should prove it. The slime realizes, oh shit, he knows it because again he knows he's in trouble, so he just runs away because in slime form all the rope just falls down. But the ice witch just kills him or freezes him all because she's an ice witch. She has bad infinity with her, which is probably the reason why the ice witch was chosen for this because she's because of the affinity for the slime. So yeah, which gives elves a bit of a list. All right, we'll listen to you a bit more, as then Sekai leads the elf chief to the place where Decius is, where Frey is also there, and Frey doesn't know him, but he refers to him normally. So Sekai doesn't waste any time with this. He just goes to DCS, restrains him like he did it multiple times during this arc because this arc is very long and very repeating of events. As then Sekai reveals everything the plan, what was happening, like DCS would have taken over, he would have made the same float, he would imprison every elf, but no one's able to follow because he speaks like he knows all this information, he's aware, but he just wants to reveal everything to everyone, and he wants to get to the main plan on how they're gonna do stuff, but no, everyone's barely following. They're just like, wait. All right, I believe you. You prove that you are correct in your statements, but we barely follow what you're talking about. So, yeah, Sekai, basically, then they go, with anything resolved and kind of proven, like all the evidence that he could find at that time is shown, and confirm he and the ice switch, which is now also adds the ice switch from this timeline. So 1 year, so there's like 2 ice switches now, 1 year older and 1 year younger. Which I'm not entirely certain where this is going, because I don't even the Ross. I don't think they actually address that much. Like as soon as like the ice switch kind of goes from the story, I don't think we actually have the two of them together. But whatever. Maybe the English translations are going to reveal to us what happened to the ice switches, but regardless, we have the two of that, the 3 of them just kind of waiting for the elves to give their response, which they finally do. Not certain why they were discussing this outside instead of just calling him those 3 to come inside, but regardless, they tell, alright, you've proven that you are indeed, everything you said is correct and we believe you, but how do we prevent it? Sekai has a plan to solve it by making sure the events that take place happened, but you guys survive. So it's gotta be like one of those things where it's like everything goes normally, but the changes are more just no one dies. It's kind of like how in Harry Potter and the Prison of Azkaban, like they don't change things massively. They just make sure the characters don't die. Like everything with Buckbee's execution happens. It's just instead of letting Buckbee go be there to die, they just kind of lead him away when while everyone else cannot do anything. Or against in or later with Sirius and Harry be attacked by the Mentors, Patronus being activated so no one can do anything about it. But no, they don't get involved. They don't prevent Snape from they don't prevent Snape from getting them to the hospital and Sirius locked up and stuff like that. Same goes for the breakup of Sirius. Nothing gets changed outside the characters being able to survive and escape. So it's kind of the situation here going on, and it's gotta be explained in the next chapter a lot more in detail and a lot more fun, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Anyways, then we after this we don't get a full plan explanation in this chapter, but we'll get in the next chapter. Right now, we just cut back to the girls that were in chapter 36, which is kind of crazy to think that this arc has been going on for like 12 chapters long. Actually, I think more, because I think that's the chapter that they left, so maybe it's like 13 chapters. My god, this was a long arc. But regardless, they are in that time period where Sekai left, and they're kind of commenting on where he is and, kind of talking about this. As the ice switch, not sure if this is the young one or the old one of them shows up here to explain to them that Sekai is lost, which is a build-up for the next arc in Time Stop Hero. Again, like, I think learn what happened to him, but in next chapter it's gonna mostly just be concluding the hidden elf arc here, and then we'll have the I might not say what's titled, but let's just say it's connected to the witches. It's like let's call it the witch kingdom arc or whatever they call this place because I do think they have a name for it, but I'm forgetting that right now. But yeah, Sekai is lost, so none of our Man of Culture character for a few chapters. It truly is tragic. But anyways, that's all the series I've read this week. So yeah, I hope you like my discussions here, and I hope you guys leave your discussion on the series you've read this week, and not just on these ones, but the ones you've also read. Maybe there are some series that you would want me to take a look at, but regardless, I hope you leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more videos in the future, and when that's it, I can't wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.